What's up, Gator Nation? We're live here on homecoming weekend for a football matchup between your Bishop's Gators and the visiting St. Mary's Huskies. My name's Leighton Garrity, and joined with me is none other than Liam Forsyth. Liam, a game that we've been waiting for a while now coming in today. How are we feeling about today's matchup?
We're feeling good. I mean, the sun is out. It's hot. It's back to being a beautiful summer-like day here in Lennoxville. And the players are ready, and the students are ready too. As you can see, they're already getting rowdy early on here. So everybody's fired up. The vibes are high. It's going to be a good one today.
And so as we look at the matchup today, let's talk a little bit about Bishop's this year. They've come in. JQ's leading the league in passing yards. He's come in the nation. He's actually ranked fourth in the nation in TDs, second in the nation for yards per game. But he has struggled throwing 5 picks so far this season. What do you think his success is going to look like today?
JQ is the number one passer in the league for a reason, because he loves that deep ball. He loves to work it. You know, he loves the big play moment, and that's something you love about him. But that's also something that defenses are looking to make him pay for. SMU, St. Mary's, they made him pay for that a couple of times in the opener at St. Mary's, so they're gonna be looking to do the same thing. It was a position battle, or a turnover battle, and field position was ever important. So so yeah, that he's just got to hold on to the ball and do his thing like he knows that he can do.
Could you tell it to move? Oh, back in front of it. And so, what do you think success is?
We're getting started here. Let's go.
Yeah, we got fans coming in the way. We got SMU
Things
players walking in front of the camera.
Things are
Nothing
moving.
better. What do you think is going to impact the game today? Defense, they've given up 7 points in the past 2 games. They've outscored their opponents here 132-7 for Bishops. Do you think we're going to see another game like that, or is it going to be an even matchup today?
I tell you what, it will not be a 70-7 or a 62-0 type of game here today. The St. Mary's Huskies have come in here with something to prove. They took an unfortunate loss last week to St. FX, so they're going to be coming into this house hungry to take over and ruin the homecoming. You know, Bishops went into Mount A last week with plans of ruining their homecoming, and they did just exactly that. And it wasn't something that Mount A wanted. The fans were packed, the stands were packed for that game early. By halftime, they were out of there. And Bishops doesn't want to let that happen, but St. Mary's is hungry, and they're coming in with a lot of force.
Yeah, but another thing that could impact St. Mary's, traveling in on the bus, it's a long car ride here to Bishops. Rowdy fans as well, they're going to be in their ear. So how important is it going to be for the Gators to start off hot, get on the board early, get some defensive stops, and try to, like, as we saw against Acadia 2 weeks ago, try to demoralize them early in the first quarter?
Absolutely. It's going to be key for Bishops to get up on them early, but it's not. So we were talking about it with a couple of the coaches just now. St. Mary's isn't a team that, you know, they go down by 20 that they're going to be like, oh, this is Bishops. They've been rolling teams. We're gonna lose. They're going to be like, okay, well, we can be the big story this week and make the comeback. So important for Bishops to get up on them early, but to maintain that mentality of, like, what is the next rep? What do we have to do? Because these guys are not going to go away easy, and Bishops knows that, and St. Mary's is a fierce team. They're looking to do everything they can to swing at the champs.
And we're looking forward to the game, but we're going to go into a couple interviews now. We got our first special guest that's going to come on, the legendary coach, Eddie Pomacala. He coached here for Bishops. Yeah, you could come on in, Eddie.
Grab the mic
Join
from me,
us.
Eddie.
Can you say what you just said?
Yeah.
A couple minutes ago.
All right, I've got an introduction for you guys as well as you guys on live. Former coach of the Gators from 1984 to 2009. He coached the Gators to their only national championship in 1998. Named CIAU Coach of the Year, the legendary coach, an inspiration to many here, and really knows what it means to be a Gator and bleed purple, Eddie Pomacala. How you doing today, Coach?
What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
Look, you were someone that, when we had this idea to bring it forward, someone that I knew automatically I wanted to have on. We commentate basketball together, and we just have the joy of doing it. I was like, this idea came to mind by Renee Zivat. Eddie is someone we need to have on. He has experience here in Lennoxville. So it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Well, it's great to be here with you. I've told many people, I told our principal, Michael Goldblum, I told Sebastian Labelle-Grenier that you are a 1 in every 20 years Bishop student. So I love working with you.
Thank you very much. So now we're going to lead into some questions about your experience here at Bishops and your team. So obviously, this past month, if you guys didn't know, Coach Paul McCalla and his national championship team were inducted into the Sherbrooke Hall of Fame. How does that feel being a Gator here at Bishops, inducted into the Sherbrooke Hall of Fame?
It's amazing because we were recognized by people from outside of the Lenox Vegas community. And, you know, our team was inducted many years ago for winning the national championship, and we're on the Wall of Distinction, and that's a great honor. And then to come back years later, to have it in Sherbrooke at the Granada Theater, to have our plaques in granite permanently on display at Lac des Nations in Sherbrooke for the Eastern Townships community is awesome.
It is awesome. And then could you give us a little rundown on how you actually came to Bishops? Because you were telling me last year how you came to Bishops, your time here. It was a little rough patch early in your career, but you ended up just falling in love with the community. Could you let us know a little bit about that?
Well, I didn't want to come here because I grew up in Montreal. I thought Montreal was the center of the universe. I was coaching at McGill. I was 25 years old. We won the Quebec Championship. I was Coach of the Year, had lots of success there, had a championship team coming back, and Bishops didn't have a strong team at all. Matter of fact, we were at the bottom of the heap in the CIAU. And so I gained a lot of great perspective because I've had every kind of a team during my career here.
That's awesome. And now leading into commentating, and you're still in the basketball community. You're wearing your nice championship ring, as I just noticed.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we get a?
Yeah. Let's get. Oh. Okay. Yeah. We still got some people running interference on the camera. It's all good. But what was the biggest impact in your coaching career now leading here at Bishops, but not just at Bishops, at McGill as well?
Like, who was my
your biggest impact? So who impacted you the most to get into coaching and then as a coach?
Well, my Dawson College coach, Richie Spears, he inspired me to become a coach. Then I went to St. FX for a couple of years to play for Steve Konchalski, who I'm great friends with both still today. I talk with Steve every single week. He taught, I went there, not to study, unfortunately. I went there to learn how to be a coach, and I learned from a great one. Bob Como, who was technical director at Basketball Quebec, he really had a big influence on me as well. And so I've been, and a Bishops alum, Butch Staples, hired me as a 21-year-old assistant coach for the princely sum of $700 a year at McGill. Maybe that's why he hired me. I don't know.
And so now we learned a little bit about your career. We're going to enter the booth in a couple weeks together. Let's talk about Bishops basketball this year. They've got recruits coming in, but they still got older players on the team. Obi DK Nwagbara coming back at the guard position for the men's team. The women's team only lost one in Kalina Alexander-Renault, who's coaching at University of Toronto now, but they brought in Leah Boucher. How is the Gators basketball going to look this season?
Okay, let's talk about the women first. And the women also lost, unfortunately, Zoo Bathias, because she had an unfortunate knee injury, and she's actually in France right now rehabbing. She'll be back in a few days to resume her studies here, and we wish the best for her. She would have been the quarterback, the leader. But we have a talented women's team because we have La Reina, Victoria Ghana back, and she'll be the best player in the league, I believe. She has to be the most fouled player in the league this year. She has to hit her threes. The Rookie of the Year in Quebec, Eve Achampone, beep. She can't have the sophomore blues. They've got great chemistry. They have a new coach, Andrea Torres. Andrea's got the nicest disposition of any coach I have ever met. She has $1 million smile. She played Division I basketball at Utah. She knows what she's doing. She's going to get a quick baptism, and unfortunately they play in the same league as Laval, and Laval was undefeated last year, and who knows, but you know what? Let's get surprised by our ladies.
And now let's talk about the men's team.
The men's team, in my opinion, will win the Quebec Championship this year. A Bishop's team has not won first place since 1999.
And who's the coach then?
The guy sitting next to me, okay? Yeah, and I believe they have the talent. They are loaded at every single position. They have 19 guys on the team. Some of their players from 13 to 19 would be rotation players for me. This is, in my opinion, this is the most physically talented Bishop's team ever.
That's awesome to hear. I'm really looking forward to the basketball season. They came away with a big win last night, the men's team, a preseason win up against University of Toronto. Both teams down in Toronto this weekend for some preseason matchups. How do you see those going?
Well, it's early to play. You know, today's September 28th. When we won the national championship, Leighton, our first practice was September 26th. Okay? Yeah.
Yep.
Putting that in perspective. And so they're playing games right now, and they're playing some tough teams. You know, our ladies, unfortunately, last night lost to TMU. Hey, a perennial power in the OUA and on the national scene. Our men beat UT by 4. Our men shot for 20 from the 3, and they shot 61% from the free throw line. So defense is there. You know, I talked to them before. I had a locker room talk with the team, and I told them, I said, you got to be obsessed with the 3 this year.
Yeah.
And they were looking at me, and they're going, what do you mean? And I said, 3 consecutive stops on defense. How many times can you do that? 3 consecutive stops. And that's got to be their mantra this year.
All right, final question for you. Do you have someone who might look into coaching or just young athletes in general?
Young athletes, be focused. Do what you want to do. Don't worry what your friends are doing, okay? And if you're on a team, go to your coach and say, Coach, tell me what it is you want me to do, and I will do exactly that. I will try to do exactly that to the very best of my ability.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to go on to our second guest coming up now. Another coach coming into the building, a newer coach, Ryan McDonald's going to be coming through.
All right, and this is Tony Harris behind me, all-Canadian quarterback, and my roommate in the 80s. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So, Ryan,
Or you're as good as me.
I'm gonna try.
all right, so now we've got Ryan McDonald joining us. He recently joined the coaching staff for the women's and men's rugby team, former player here at Bishops. Last night, the women's just defeated McGill 51-5 for their first win this season. How does it feel getting back in the winning books?
That was huge. It was a big win. Keeps us in enough contention now. It's been great. Point differential yesterday was a huge one for us as well. So it was great to see. Great win for the girls, man. Great win.
And so now let's talk a little bit about your transition from player to coach. How did that happen? Injuries happen in your career here at Bishops. How does that affect an athlete and then leading into coaching for you?
Yeah, so for me, unfortunately, it was the concussion. So there was head injuries. I couldn't always just bounce back as easy as a broken bone and all that. Definitely takes a huge mental toll, especially in rugby when the first time you have to come back and tackle, and it's a big act and tackle after a head injury, but it's been good. It's always tough, the mental aspect coming back, and now, you know, after getting concussion number 6 or 7 this summer, I finally realized, you know what, move on to bigger and better things, I guess, and now I'm coaching, and it's been great, so loving every minute of it.
Exactly, and why not ask the Gator what he thinks about tonight's game? Gator, do you think the Gators are coming away with victory? Yep, I agree. Gators by a million today is what the Gator just said, and he's predicting a 5-0 start to the season. So, Ryan, back to rugby. Nearing the end of the season, you've got a very important match coming up against Université de Montréal with the women's team next week. What can we expect then?
Hey, we're gonna go out there with our best effort, put our front foot first. Sorry, having a little trouble talking here. We're gonna just replay the same way you did last night. It's going to be a great win again. The girls can really move the ball. They can really play this year, so it's been great to watch, and I'm excited for that last game.
And then tomorrow we've got the men's rugby team coming up against McGill. Sort of a must-win situation as well for them. starting off the season struggling a little bit, but they had some very tough games and opponents against ETS and Ottawa. What can we expect up against McGill?
Hey, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a fight. It always is against McGill. Us against McGill is always a battle. So I'm expecting the same again. You know, the guys are ready. They're prepared. It's gonna be a battle. But I think the boys are gonna pull it off. It's on Coulter. It's Holco weekend. They're gonna do it. I got all faith in all of them. So.
And so back in your heyday, you used to be a football player at Loyola High School.
Yeah.
What is your score prediction for today's game? What can we expect from the Gators as well as St. Mary's coming out?
Today, well, you know, the Gators' run game and throwing game has been unstoppable recently, so I'm expecting a big one. Honestly, I'm going to go 52-7 win for the Gators. They've been killing it. They got the confidence. Oh, they're going to take it.
And defense wins championships.
Exactly. And this team has been killing it on defense. Their interceptions have been nuts, been crazy. Gang tackles everywhere. They're just swarming to the ball. It's been great. I'm excited for this defense today.
Excited as well. Hope you enjoy the game. Yo Sargent coming up here from the women's hockey team.
Thank you, Layden. Good luck.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. So now we've got assistant captain, former assistant captain. Captains haven't been announced this year, as we know here. 55 points in your career at Bishops, part of the Canadian women's national team for ball hockey as well. So this summer you played for the national team, the senior national team. Last year you played for the junior.
Correct, yeah.
And so how did that go this summer?
Well, we had a really strong team. It was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. Coming onto a more mature team as a younger girl, I was really able to find some mentors on the team, which was just an incredible experience. We finished third in the tournament, which wasn't what we were going for, but a medal's a medal on a world stage, and the memories are going to last a lifetime. So.
Yeah, and so continuing a little bit with ball hockey, does that skill set translate to the ice for you here at Bishops? Like, what do you take from your ball hockey to translate into being on the ice for the Gators?
I would say the biggest thing is leadership. Like I said, having all those mentors on my team this year really showed me what I want to be for our rookies this year. We had 9 rookies coming in, so it was a really cool learning curve for me and getting to see what I want to be for them. But also, of course, cardio. It keeps me active all summer, so that always helps when we come back for the beep test. But yeah, I would say those are the 2 most transferable skills that I bring.
Yeah, for sure. And then last weekend you guys traveled East Coast, back home for you. You went 3-0 on the weekend. Can we expect that coming into the season as well, or how's it going to look?
I'm hoping so. We're 5-0 in preseason right now. The team is really gelling, and it's really exciting to go out to these different teams and play. We went to Ontario too, and 2 big games there. So I think the girls are just building off the excitement of every game, and really hoping that we can bring that into the season. Yeah,
that's awesome. Last year, unfortunately, a heartbreaking defeat to Montreal. Is there a sense of the job not being finished coming into this season after losing in the semifinals to the Carabins?
Like previously mentioned, we have 9 rookies, so they don't have that lack of finish that I think all of us seniors do. We have some of the key girls who were going to graduate last year. They're coming back, so I think we're very hungry. We were happy with how we finished. We played to the end, and it was a tough one, but I think we were proud. So I think a right quote for right now would be proud but not satisfied.
Okay.
I think we're ready. I think we're hungry.
I like it.
We're really excited.
Proud but not satisfied. The RCQ is going to look a little bit different this year with Ottawa and Carleton leaving the division, going to play in the OUA. You're going to be playing 7 games against Concordia, who's a powerhouse. You're going to be playing 7 games against McGill, who last year struggled. How is that 7 games against those teams going to impact you guys? It's going to create rivalries, obviously. Like, how do you feel about only having 4 teams in your division now?
It's a strange feeling. I would say it's not as exciting, but at the same time, we get all those games to prepare for each game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I think the more times we get the opportunity to beat Concordia, the more that we can watch film and learn from our mistakes and take the opportunity to really lock down. And I mean, McGill, you never know, it's a new year. So I think we're just going into the season with a fresh plate, clean plate, and we're just going to try to give it our all the games that we do get. So.
And women's hockey's been exploding over the past couple years. The PWHL being created. Now the teams have logos and names. Is pro hockey in the future for you? Is that something you're looking for? Or?
I'm not too sure. I love hockey and I would love to. However, I do want to go to law school and I would also love to play in Europe. So I think my first step would be to go to Europe and play for a couple years and see if I can fall into the pro in Canada or the States for that. But taking it year by year.
Yeah.
So.
And so you just mentioned law school. So academics obviously going to be a very important part for you. Can you give like a piece of advice for a young athlete or someone on how important athletics or academics are for an athlete?
For sure. We have really, really good resources here. As a fourth year, I still spend a few hours a week with Mike up in the BU skills room. I think the key to your athletic performance is having your academics under control. The less stress you feel about that and the more pride you can take in the work that you're giving in, the more respect you'll have from your profs and the better you'll feel when you're going into game day. So for any young athletes, I highly suggest putting the time and effort in. Really, if you sit down and you do it, it's gonna give you so much more time to enjoy your athletic and social life outside of academics.
Well said, very well said. So back to the football game, final question for you. Do you have a score prediction for us coming in today up against St. Mary's?
Well, it's a hard one because St. Mary's is where I live.
Yep.
So obviously I'm rooting for Bishops. I did ask my two football roommates how they feel about the upcoming game. They're going for a blowout.
Okay.
I'm not going to give a specific score because I'm superstitious, but I'm hoping for a blowout too.
Hoping for a blowout as well. Thank you for joining us today.
You.
I wish you the best of luck with your season and enjoy HOCO.
Have a great day.
Yep. So now we're going to get our athletic director, Matt McBride, is going to come on with us. And Tom Allen will be around shortly. He'll also be joining us. So Matt is the athletic director, works behind the scenes for Gators athletics. And could you just emphasize the importance of the football team starting off undefeated on the season so far?
Yeah, it's super fun, right? One, I'm keeping my sunglasses and hat on, by the way, 'cause maybe our viewers can't tell, but what a day we have.
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
Tailgating happening over here. It's wonderful.
Yep.
Gator football is back, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
And maybe before I just answer a football question, you know, the thing, as you know, being here and being a student athlete, you understand that, you know, we've been working really hard on our culture, having the right people working with our student athletes, and mixing in some fun. Like, we can't lose sight of that. You know, it's important that our students and our student athletes have some fun.
Yeah.
You know, they're not getting paid to do this. And
exactly.
They lead a really balanced and challenging, you know, life. So we're, you know, I think that's part of the recipe. That's the recipe that we're following right now. That's having success. And I said, you know, about people, and maybe one thing I would like to just start with also is a former head coach of Bishop, Beef Ross. He was a head coach here in the 50s, passed away recently, 101 years old. And I just wanted to shout out to him and perhaps some of our viewers that might know that name, and what an icon at Bishop's. And, you know, it's people like that paved the way for, you know, Gator Nation and the success we're having today. It's all about people.
Yep.
And, you know, what a great combination of that we have right now. So football, you know, we have an outstanding head football coach in Sheriff Nicholas, and he's really, we do more than just play sports, right? And, you know, we really emphasize the experience off the field and bringing out the best in every single person. And we talk a lot about leadership development, and so these are all the things that he's kind of bringing to our program right now. And it's attracting the best, it's retaining the best, and it's one of the reasons, you know, we're seeing the success we're seeing with our football team, which is really spread across all of Gator athletics. You just had our amazing women's hockey captain on, and what a season they're going to have. You know,
they are.
It's pretty exciting. It's so. Yeah.
And so you spoke about leadership. One of the pillars here at Bishop's, could you maybe talk about other pillars that we have here in not just the athletic scene, but this whole school scene as well?
Mm-hmm. So we introduced last year. So we've been carrying this slogan from year to year, and last year it was called Win Our Way, and we decided to keep that this year, and I think it's probably going to be one that sticks with us for a while, and it really means that we're going to approach the life of a student athlete in the performance we expect, and that level of excellence that we're trying to attain. We're gonna accomplish that not just by focusing on being this excellent athlete who can win games. We're going to focus on all the other things which are more important. Academic success, leadership development, community engagement, and we also have a wellness program. So these are the things that we talk more about. So and the sport is really the fifth pillar in this, in this quote-unquote magic recipe that we're trying to deliver right now, and it's really made us have this really incredible culture where we have a lot of accountability, a lot of respect, and our student athletes have really bought into it. So it's really impressive. We have over 360 student athletes now across our 10 teams, and they really have bought into it. And there's also this real feel that we're one team now. And I think that's probably something that people who have played sports at Bishops in the past may not quite have felt as much, but we really feel it now. And you see it with a couple of interviews maybe you've already had of the understanding of what's going to happen today and who these people are, and so that's kind of the approach we're taking. Is just really talk about the things really that are important in life, and just really trying to prepare people so when they leave this amazing place, they are ready to contribute to society. And what a wonderful connection we're going to have today at homecoming with our alumni, and who are really, just so emblematic of who we are at Bishops. It's just this really wide-reaching group of people, and with a family type atmosphere that come together to make this small school pretty big.
Exactly. And then touching on that being one team and a family atmosphere, last night we had almost every single sports team in attendance for the women's rugby game, and then the day before we had almost every single sports team in attendance for the men's cross team. So it really is showcasing how everyone is supporting everyone moving forward.
Wasn't that fun? What a great atmosphere we had, and that's how we roll now.
Yep.
We come out and we cheer each other on, and when you build that level of trust, and we talk a lot about our values, and when having those type of conversations, it just leads to the type of things that are happening now. And we had 100 new student athletes this year, and it's going to be really fun to bring them into that fold and count on our group of returning student athletes to kind of teach them how we do things at Bishops. And
do you think that this new level of support is because of the recent success that the teams have been having? Or do you think that it's really just coming because it's a whole different culture change that's been implemented?
Well, it's probably a combination of all those things. And, we started at the beginning, I'm going back maybe 6 years, to say, look, we have to do certain things first, and that started with our academic performance. And if we're gonna get people behind us, they have to believe in what they're supporting, and they have to feel, and they gotta. So what we try to do is communicate that over the past couple of years, saying, hey, look, it's time to get behind your teams. They're at a certain place now. And so, so we're kind of counting on our alumni now to kind of push us over the edge, and certainly, philanthropy and things like that, that's going to be a huge piece for us moving forward. It's hard. It's hard delivering varsity programming right now at the university level. And if you want to keep pace, you have to have money, and that's just the reality of life, right? So we're fortunate. We've got a really engaged community. We've got, what I would say is probably the most supportive alumni network in the country, and we're going to lean on them.
Yeah.
And if they respond, look out, it's on.
For sure. Maybe let's talk back at football here. As the players went in to get ready, we've got 79 minutes until kickoff. What can we be expecting here, kickoff against St. Mary's today?
Yeah, long 79 minutes today,
oh, yeah.
Isn't it? Well, I think our football team showed early that they have a lot of potential, and they just needed to iron some things out. They needed to clean up a few things. They need to kind of get back in in a rhythm, and that I think we saw that in week 3. And against Acadia, and we certainly saw more of it last week against Mount A. And And so I suspect that we're going to see even more of that today against Mew.
Exactly.
And, we're kind of at a place, Leighton, that we're taking care of our own business, and if our football team comes out and plays to their ability, it's going to be a long day for the other team. So that's kind of what we're expecting today.
And so, Matt, why don't you introduce us to who just joined us?
Yeah, Mr. Tom Allen, face that everybody knows, and we talked about the support for the Gators, and for people that may not know, Tom has really never left Bishops. He's our former head football coach, as people know, and athletic director. And when I started a few years back, I approached Tom to say, hey, why don't you keep going and help me with this? And so we're kind of holding hands here and keeping this thing going. And Tom's been a great help to me, and a very close friend and a mentor. And it's people like that we want involved in our program. And so just let Tom share his perspective
for sure.
on what's going on. And you've been here a long time, Tom.
Yeah, I've been here probably too long, Manny, but whatever. It is what it is, and I enjoy every minute of it. And I think what is really striking home now is the resurgence of our football program, because it's been a while. We made the playoffs under Jordan back in 2013, I think it was.
Yep.
But since then, so we have a disconnect really for a couple of decades, so we're working on that. We're looking to bring the alumni. There's a big buzz out there right now.
There is.
I'm sure you've heard it, Leighton, as a student and everything else. So we're excited about it, but most importantly, we need the alumni to support us. Whether it's financially or in their presence or verbally or in the media, spread the word. Come on back home. I always say home because a lot of people feel like that. So we're going to reach out to the alumni, football, all sports, not just football, and build up a fund to help our student athletes.
And so you spoke about fun, and Matt, you spoke about the future of Gators athletics. It's very hard being a varsity athlete with financially to be able to support yourself as a student and then also as an athlete. So what might those funds look like? How can alumni get in and help?
Intentional this campaign that we're embarking on. We've already started. It's going well.
I don't know if we want to go back, but I've played football and hockey here back in the 60s, and I love the experience here. I grew up in Montreal. My wife's a McGill graduate, so we'll forgive her on that.
Yeah.
And whatever, we got married, and she got a job teaching, and I was doing a post-grad year 55 years ago, and I got a job, and bingo, I'm still here, and I worked at Champlain, and I joined Bruce Coulter, a great mentor of mine and friend, and we had some wonderful years together. So our kids grew up here, they've left and moved on. They love to come home, and I think any of these kids will say this is home, especially athletes, because most of them have pretty fond memories. And it helps when you win.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
The memories are more positive when you win. So, long story short, look at it. How can you beat it?
Exactly.
How can you beat it? So, yeah, everything's good, and I hope I can still contribute and help Matt out, but most importantly, helping our student athletes out.
And so a way that you could possibly help student athletes out, what's a piece of advice that you would give the student athletes who are going to graduate? So graduating seniors, what's a piece of advice that you would give them leading into their future lives?
Well, if you're talking just about their relationship with the university, go get a job, get a good job, have your children, and start giving back. That's in means of the university. But you're graduating the liberal arts. I would say probably 70% don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's fair. That's good. You've learned a lot of social skills, etc. at a small university. You'll find your niche.
Yeah.
And it'll work out. You'll have a good background. You're going to be able to communicate. Maybe not in trigonometry or calculus or whatever else. But that's key. And eventually they go, man, did I ever have a good time there?
Yeah.
Athletic or not, So it'll work. It'll work.
And then final thing for you, could you give us a score prediction or how you see this game going against St. Mary's?
Okay, my last prediction, I beat everybody, including him. So I'm going to go, I'm not going to be overly, I'm going to say 38-10.
38-10 Bishops.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
A closer game. We've had some people say 52-7s out here,
Yeah.
blowouts coming
Well, nobody
up.
expected the 70-7, and nobody expected 62.
Exactly. Phenomenal past couple games.
A realistic score, but we should be more competitive than they are.
Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to leave it on over for Liam now, as he's going to be interviewing some of our alumni coming back to Bishops, coming back home. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
You too.
Marty, is this your phone? Marty.
They said, is he going right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need him soon.
Okay. We'll be in and out.
Thank you. Just talking to this bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep it wherever.
You need the
Yeah.
You need the girthier man chair. Awesome. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with the legendary quarterback Trevor Lovick. Trevor, welcome back.
thank you.
How are you feeling to be back in Lennoxville?
Well, if I'm honest, I'm feeling a little bit hungover.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but always
Classic.
excited, right? The day's beautiful. I get to be here at Coulter Field, and Bruce was a dear friend of mine, right? So it's always fun. And to add a little bit of spice to it, I brought down some recruits
Nice.
for the day, and one of those recruits is my son, so that's kind of special.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah, so
that's
it's good.
that's very
That's fun.
special to
Yeah,
have.
it's very cool.
Have the Lovicks back in purple.
Maybe, we
potentially.
hope so, but yeah, we'll see.
If everything works out.
Yeah.
I'll transition into a question actually about your recruiting. You've after your football career, you've kept your nose in the thick of things, thick of all Bishops things.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, as your role as a recruiter, what's something that you express to these athletes to get them to buy in on the experience to be a Bishop skater?
Yeah, so the first thing I tell any recruits and their parents is first of all, I don't get paid to do any of it. I do it for free because it's my job to pay back, right? I had the dream experience here, and if someone comes here that has 10% of it, then they're gonna have the best time alive. And so the first thing I tell them is I do this because I have a duty for it, and I want to have good people have great experiences. That's the first thing I tell them. The second thing I tell them is I said, this is so different. It's so different than any other experience. I live in Ontario, and the smallest Ontario school is about 10, 12 times bigger than us.
Yeah.
And I just say, when you come here, you're going to get to know people. So I was telling the recruits last night, I said, okay, our waitress, you're going to see her tomorrow at the game.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they saw her in the bookstore, right? And so
100%.
it's a completely different experience, and I just tell athletes, I said, it may not be perfect for you, but come check it out because it is such a different type of world here, and you'll have the best time ever.
It's the type of place that if it is your type of vibe, if you're a sociable guy, you like to have those close community feels,
Totally.
then it's the place for you.
Yeah,
Bishops is the
yeah.
place.
Last night we're at the line, and I'm like, you'll find your tribe here. It's easy to find your tribe, right? No matter what you're into, you're gonna find a couple of weirdos just like you, right? And that's pretty special. And I was standing there with Vinny Bégin, who I love talking politics. Him and I disagree on politics, but we love each other intensely. And I'm having a conversation with him, and I pivot over, and I'm having a different conversation with Rob Allett about the local community and the business. And I'm like, how many places in the world can you have such different groups of connections, and they all come to the beautiful place and play a little ball and have some fun?
It's just a melting
Yeah,
pot
it's
of
awesome.
people that bleed purple.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
The alumni group is shown to be just absolutely super strong and connected. And you can see it here. It's homecoming and everybody is back.
Yeah.
Everybody's fired up to be here. What does it mean for the alumni group when they see the success that this team has been having, and really all Gators teams?
I'll tell you what, it is so much fun. It's so much fun to watch, right? You're always kind of aware of it. And then as the teams have more success on the field or on the rink or in the court, right, it just gets that momentum. And I will get, this weekend, after this game, I'll probably get 100 instant messages from recruits, and then I'll get another 100 more from alumni saying, hey, I watched the game, I did that. So it just brings back a whole flood of great memories, right? I was lucky enough, I was here arguably during the glory years of both football and basketball, and it just makes this town really special, and it just gives you a connection because it's just something for you to anchor on, and when you think about it, you're like, yeah, I had a great experience there too. So it's really special.
Something that definitely brings the community together, and it's rare, we're students in this very, very small town, and the community it's a older age population, but it's so fabulous to see when we have these beautiful homecoming games, when the football team is doing well and the stands are packed, it's full of students getting after it, but also in that same little area is the older guys in the town.
Yeah, so just standing over there, I was talking with Bob Farnham, and he's been a huge supporter of Gator Athletics forever, and he just turned 86. And so I've known him for 30-some years.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes later, I'm talking with Zach Forsyth, who I held when he was a baby at this very field, and you just have a different sense of community, right? And it's really special that way.
Yeah, on the topic of Zach Forsyth, he's a legendary kid. He's a beauty.
Yeah.
But we had Jake Kelly come back a couple weeks ago, Winnipeg Blue Bombers player. He came back to school to watch one of the games. Winnipeg was on a bye week, and he remembers Zach from the little ball boy, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And he was drinking beers with Jake
Well,
Kelly after, and he's like, "What's going on?"
I love this. When I played here, our ball girls were Jen and Jess McCauley, and Jen went on, had a great basketball career down in the U.S. Right? She'll be here today, and it's just so much fun. Like where else do you go and you create a relationship with the ball boys, ball girls? Where else do you kind of know everybody in the Plex? It's just really special, and it's fun when you get to come back and you see those people again. It's really special.
Definitely special. And when I first met Zach, I mean, we were both kind of younger guys from the team, and well, he wasn't on the team, but just being around it. And we have the same last name. He's got an E on the end of it. I don't. But just seeing him around in the Plex, and just like getting to see him and all his friends interact, and you could tell that he loved it whenever he saw one of the big guys with their big football or their Bishop's football, and he gets to dap them up and talk to them a little bit.
And I lived with Zach's uncle on Reed Street. And then
Chris,
his dad, Chris and I are good friends. We share a birthday, and it's just such a small world. It's awesome.
Just a community
Wonderful.
feel.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
I gotta ask
Yeah,
it.
please.
So the last time that Bishops was in a national semifinal, '94, you were running the offense, running the show, and it was here. It was right here in Lennoxville, hosting Western. It was a very tight game. Unfortunately, Western came away victorious.
Yeah, I remember. Thanks.
Yeah. Hate to remind you, but we don't have to pull out everything from that game. But we can't ignore it.
Yep.
This year, the AUS hosts the OUA. Western is a top powerhouse team in that conference. The Gators, do you think this is the team that has what it takes to host a national semifinal and get back to that stage nationally?
Yeah, so certainly hoping so, right? What a great bookend that would be, right? 30 years, and if it's purple on purple, even if it ends up being Laurier, one of the Laurier coaches, Matt Robichaud, that was he was an all conference guy here, great player, and Laurier wears purple too, right? So I'm really hopeful it's going to be purple versus purple here, and I'll tell you, in 1994 when we came out of the Plex, the place was bonkers. Like there was about 10,000 people crammed in here, and the Hells Angels guys at the time were here revving their bikes, and you had the firefighters ripping up stuff. It was mayhem, and that was hours and hours and hours before the game, and it was just such a great moment for the community. And then the first half was incredible. We won't talk about the second half.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still get stopped and asked about, like, just on the walk over here this morning, a bunch of people that I didn't know well. They're like, yeah, we were at the.
Sorry to let you down.
These young men that work so hard have the chance, and then the student population, if they get to experience that, it's just a real special time.
Because really, not only the players that have put so much effort and really a life's work, of football into this moment, but it's the students. You want that experience, oh yeah, like when I was at Bishops, our team was great, and we hosted this big national semifinals. There was cameras from everywhere, and I feel like that's an experience that Lennoxville deserves.
I'll tell you, yes, I totally agree. On Wednesday night in Oakville, where I live, Wednesday night, a couple of non-football players were getting together, and they invited me over because they're Bishops people.
Yeah.
And we just had a great experience, and that's the point of difference here at Bishops, is all of the fans here, all the students, they know these people. They live with them, they're in classes with them, they see them walking around, and you don't find that at big schools. At big schools, it gets pretty anonymous, where it's just a jersey, and it's just kind of a real different life. And so hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully these guys will keep it together, and then we'll have a chance to win the Loney Bowl and then host it, right? That'd be really fun. Really fun.
That's what's on the minds of all the student population for sure. But I know that these guys out here right now. They're just focused on St. Mary's right now.
Absolutely.
And just the opponent that is standing in front of them. And so, man, we're excited for a big day here today.
Yeah, and St. Mary's, they've done they've had a nice bounce back after a couple of years. They got some
100%.
legit players, right? So they're a good squad.
Some legit ballers on that squad. They got an unreal special teams.
Yep.
Pretty
good.
That I don't know if you watched the first game.
I did.
Is a bit of a turnover battle.
Yep.
For sure. And Bishops came away with the interception late. Jean Aubert, who unfortunately injured himself a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think for today? How does this game end up going?
Well, it'll be interesting. Unfortunately, with Burnett not playing, and I was lucky enough to play with his dad.
They're going to be on just after you.
I see Juice over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously he's an elite player, right? But what I've seen the last couple of weeks is we ran away with games pretty early. So I think today, if it's tighter, then it's going to test our Gators, right? Because it's not going to be all roses and easy, right? Not saying the other games were easy, but it all broke our way. So today, if we have a couple of like mistakes or mess ups, it's going to be a real good test to see, okay, hey, do we have that grit to keep going? Because the games are going to get tougher from here on out, right? And so hopefully we'll do what we can. I think we're the better team. So now it's just how do you respond and how do you keep when you're up high. Sure that you don't get out of yourselves, and when it's low, how quickly can you bounce back?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the St. Mary's team that, with 2 minutes to go, it was tie game, 11-11. They know that they can compete. They know that they can win this game. So if it comes down to it, where Bishops gets up on them early a little bit, they're not gonna get flustered and be like, oh, we're done. We've traveled all this way. We're going to take the L here. They're going to be like, oh, we can compete with this team. We're going to come back at them, and they're going to give them their best shot.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, right? And if you're the better team, the longer the weaker team hangs around, the more dangerous they are, right? And I think you've seen it this year in some of the AUS games, right? So hopefully we'll get after them early. And the nice part is we've shown that we can score on offense, defense, and specials.
Yeah. It's an electric factor in this group of Bishops Gator. So hopefully more of the same today. Trevor, great to have you on.
Hey, just before we sign off, you guys are doing a great job with the media, great job on the game day stuff. You guys are doing really, really good work.
Appreciate it.
So thank you guys.
A lot of it is that man behind the camera right now. He was sitting there, Leighton Garrity. He's taken on a bit more of a internship role here with the Gators. And
you guys are doing a great job.
He's been organizing it very well, doing his best job. So,
awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and we appreciate you coming on.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks. Go Gators, eh?
Yeah,
perfect.
For sure.
Thanks.
Let's get them.
Yeah, good job.
And now we will have the Burnetts come on to the show, OJ and Ollie. We've got a chair here for them. Nothing like sunny Lennoxville, am I right? Come on. Yeah. Quick intermission here to put on the sunnies. It's a little bright out, but we got the sunnies on. They're a little twisted. The Burnetts.
Whoa, hey,
the father and son duo that we all need to see. Yeah. You just hold it wherever, really.
Yeah. Right on.
The glasses got to come off for this. Yeah. Boys, how are we feeling about today? Sun is out.
Hey.
The day is hot.
Oh man, I'll tell you, you know what? We got great weather. The tailgate is lit. Like we're ready to roll. Gator Nation is like on top of the world right now.
Yeah.
We're 4-0.
Things are floating.
Yeah, this is feeling good. You know, we got to take care of business today.
Yeah. It's about the opponent in front of us, you know?
Yeah, you got to go.
What's up, man?
But
yeah.
It's up.
So, boys.
I think you're not letting him in.
What up, Al?
Are you?
He could come in. He could come in if you want to get on Matheson. We could have another son duo up here. We got Jake Matheson. He doesn't need to warm up. He could be good. So, boys, with it being homecoming, obviously, atmosphere is bumping. There's people everywhere. We can hear the band in the background. Everything is rolling. Is there a certain edge that comes along with your game when the crowd is bigger, when it's homecoming, when it's a big game like today?
You know, I think just seeing all the support, really helps from the alumni being out. You always want to put your best on for the home crowd, and having everyone from like previous years come back that you used to play with, guys that you looked up to when you were here that have graduated since. and then being able to see like them come back and watch you do your thing, like that's huge on homecoming. It's definitely a big motivator for the guys, I'd say.
For sure, absolutely. I mean, we saw last night Renee Zivat back in town. We
back
had
in
Jake
the
Kelly at the
building.
last game. We've
Yep.
had Yanni Guadfeld. Like we've had all these alumni come, so it's always nice to put on a show for them and bring it in for the home crowd. So boys, I gotta ask it. So obviously, OJ, you were a running back here, a stud running back.
Yes, sir.
Your son here now plays. He's a star on the team, really.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to watch, and what you would admire the most about Ollie's
You know
game?
what? And he's always played this way. It's just the all out on every play. You know, whether he's getting the ball or not getting the ball, he's always looking to make things happen. And that's not something he was their coach. That's just the way he plays it. You know, and I love that
Just-
part about
just
it.
natural.
And him coming here is obviously it's special. Sid and I recognize that. This is where we went. And to get him to see him play out here and do what he's doing is just awesome.
Mm-hmm. Certainly someone that that I love to watch on our team. Like every time I see it, it's like, damn, there's passion.
Yeah,
There's real drive behind Ollie's feet, and someone that in practice I hate guarding.
You know what?
It's
He's
not fun.
like even back in the backyard when he was a little guy, he's always looking to make a play and do something special. I mean, you put 12 of those guys out there on every play, you got something.
Yeah,
man. You got something.
big play Burnett, as we say in the booth.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a correlation between the Burnett's being back on campus and a return to winning ways.
Yeah.
Ollie's first year in 2019 was the first of 3 trips to the Loney Bowl for the Gators. What do you attribute this evolution of success of these last few teams?
Yeah, for sure. Like from where it started back, it was in 2019, and where we are now. Like, I mean, I think a lot of credit has got to go, to the coaches and the head guy. He's been the constant. From
The new sheriff in town.
The new sheriff in town. Because you know what, you see turnover in coach and stuff, but he's been the one constant that's been there. And I mean, you can't understate how well he's done to build the culture with this team. And to me, like, you look at the roster on paper, like the talent that is on that roster now compared to, I mean, there were great players in 2019. There's no question there's great players. But now you can go through the list. And like today, my boy's sitting out, but like next man up, next man. And we're able to do that now with the roster we got.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm excited to see today, especially, me being out. Can't wait to watch my Rex go out there and eat it up today. It's going to be awesome.
For sure, absolutely. I mean, we got a fellow New Brunswick guy in Ryan LeBlanc who's going to be stepping into a bit more of a hands-on role today. So excited to see him. He's a similar play style to Ollie, quick, agile guy. And a guy that's like gonna give you his grit. He's 100% every play. So I'm super excited to see Ryan. Obviously,
we played against him. Monk and
Yeah.
I.
Oh, yeah.
FHS.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, he's a super player. Oh yeah, I'm excited to see.
One of
this
those
today.
guys that you look at, you're like, this guy's. He's just got that burning. For sure.
Yeah.
100%. Excited to see him do his thing.
We got a beautiful day. Like, look at this. Like, I mean,
it's been rainy all week, just been nothing but crap.
No,
and
the flagpole's dead. Like, there's no real breeze. Maybe a few more clouds might help.
Yeah.
Whatever, but we're good to go.
We're good. It's
a
beautiful fall day.
And I'll tell you too, it's something nice when those boys put the purple on. I'll tell you something.
Nothing like purple on purple, and everybody coming out with the black swag too. It's just unreal to see. See, we got Chef Kamara there, Kamara. Throwing it up. He wants one today. He scored a touchdown last week. He wants more of the same.
I'll tell you, they've been waiting for this one, so they're fired up.
For sure, coming up. And Smear, they're a scrappy team. It's not gonna be no rolling over. They're
a good team. We definitely felt there was a lot left to prove there after week 1. We left a lot on the board there.
For sure. A couple red zone turnovers.
So, it's definitely we want to show some dominance today and kind of put our foot down and show them what we're made of.
100%, especially in front of
them. If you
the.
go back to week 1, I think it was like 600 yards or something.
Yeah.
But like the scoreboard didn't show that, so I think one of the keys today for the offense for sure is just finish those drives off. You know what I mean? And if we can do that, we should be good. But like you said, like they're dangerous, and the return game for sure. Like
Nuts.
they
Mayo
always
is
have
something
electric
else.
players. and you got to cover those kicks, and you got to take care of business there. And I think the defense is just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, 19 yards rushing, I think we held them to
Yeah.
in week 1, and the first run was for like 9 yards.
Plus
so
two-
keep doing that.
Two
Pressure the
two
quarterback.
vets coming back on that D-line
Ooh.
that weren't there. David Compo's been back in the lineup the past couple weeks, but back today off a knee injury. Sam Robichaux, he's back in the lineup, ever dangerous. So
wait to see him
excited to
make
see that, and that's a comfortable feeling for the offense to know, like, hey, like, we can make mistakes because our defense is gonna be there,
Yeah.
and it's all about them two just complimenting each other and putting points up on the board.
I'll tell you,
Yeah,
it was a
for
pretty
sure.
good feeling the other week when we were down at homecoming, and I didn't even have to do too many offensive snaps, and there was already points on the board for us.
Yeah,
So
the
that's-
boys were just handling business on defense. So, OJ, you've built a bit of a reputation as being the tailgate master.
I
What-
enjoy the tailgate.
Yeah.
Because you know what, when I played here, I mean, you'd love to go back to those playing days, and I love every second of it.
Mhm.
But this is the same thing. I'd come out here, and you're looking over there, and you're seeing the passion of Gator Nation,
Yeah.
and going like that is special.
Just
And-
people that bleed
and
purple.
Now I got the opportunity, best of both worlds. I get to watch my son play and enjoy that, but what an atmosphere.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
something like you don't get at these big. We had Trevor Lovick on, and he was talking about that, and that's how that's what he likes to tell the recruits that he's getting to come
I
on
don't
to the
think
team.
people realize
Like-
like what a special place this is. Like, you got to come see it. You know what I mean? Like, I've taken a couple videos today, kind of show people, but like, you got to come here and you feel the passion and you see the enjoyment, everything that's going on in the parking lot. Like,
And
it's awesome.
the
It's a hidden
connection,
gem, really.
yeah,
right here in
for sure.
Riceville, Yeah.
The connection that these students have when someone makes a big play and it's like, oh, that guy was in my group project last week. Like,
I was
that's
the-
my boy. Like, what the hell?
I'm not even dressing today, as you know. I'm out with an injury, but two of my buddies from class came up to me and they had one faded on their
I
back
saw that. There was
anyway, so
Fred
that's-
and Joe.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good to see there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
good
It's
stuff.
really cool.
So
So
the hockey boys there.
I'm
the
a
hockey
little,
boys
like,
are.
I wish the
showing
parking
their
lot was
support.
done though. Like, we got
Yeah.
construction going on there, so
It's
we're
a
kind
little.
of
It's
limited.
a bit of a.
But we're
yeah.
making do. We're
Yeah.
making do.
And
you know, we're-
that's really the Gator way. Is,
Yeah, that's
is
a-
making do with what
for
you've
sure,
got.
For sure.
And
Yeah, there's going to be challenges.
yeah, there's gonna be obstacles to
Every
the
season,
tailgate.
there's gonna
You
be
know,
challenges, but we're gonna
everything's different, but
overcome
we're
it, and
gonna,
make it work.
we're gonna divide and conquer and get
Yeah.
it done.
No, for sure. It's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
time, and then we got the gate post game.
Yeah,
We got a
reception
band.
is always fun.
We got a band there.
I think so.
I think we got a band.
I think it's a band and a DJ. I think we got
Oh,
double
man.
trouble
Like,
tonight.
So
It
there
get-
you go.
it's
Like,
gonna
the
be
whole
good
game
stuff.
day experience here is off the charts. Like,
Yeah.
no, it really is.
It's unreal.
That's what I'm saying. You try and describe to people. It's like, you know what? There was a lineup to get in here at 10:15.
Yeah.
The parking lot didn't even open till 11 because they knew spaces were limited because of the construction. Line up down the. Look at the atmosphere there. We got the product on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we're
The
gonna go.
product on the.
And then
That's
we're
what
gonna
it
go
is.
post game at the
Yeah,
gate,
it's-
and then, you know what I mean. But the whole game day experience here, like, a lot of credit needs to be given out to the people that put this together, because, it's top level. Like, I don't know,
Top
like,
notch.
yeah,
Second to none,
yeah,
really.
no, it's
my
awesome.
my brother came last year for homecoming. He's from went to school at McGill. He's graduated now, but he was like, man, we have a way bigger stadium. I don't think I've ever seen this many people at a McGill game
No.
once.
No.
So that's the type of atmosphere and the type of home vibe that Bishops brings. And if you're a recruit
Well,
deciding where you want to go,
it's easy. It's
Bishops is
easy.
the place for
It's
you, my
easy.
man. I hate to tell you.
If there's
Well, I
any
love to tell you,
recruits
but
checking this out, I'm saying, get down here.
Get down here.
Experience it for yourself and see what special place
live the
this
real
is.
action. Get out on that Coulter Field. Nothing
Yeah,
like it.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
All right,
That's
boys.
all good.
I'm happy to have had you guys on. I
it's our
appreciate your
pleasure.
time.
It's our pleasure.
The
This is
Burnett's, the
amazing.
legends.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it,
Thanks.
and
Anytime,
we'll see you in a
anytime.
bit.
All right.
Catch you after
Yeah.
the game. Cheers, boys. Lennox, Vegas, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's bumping out here. The
We are
alumni
moving.
coming into the stadium now. So, we sort of had this to highlight the Gators, but youth sports football as a whole as well has been gaining a lot of recognition so far this year. I mean, we had the RSEQ, Laval's selling almost 20,000 tickets to come to their games. Like,
They packed the barn
they
there.
packed the
They
barn.
packed the
Exactly.
barn.
They have fun out here. So now we're going to move into a segment where we're going to talk a little bit about youth sports football and come into who we think's coming into the Final Four as we're heading in towards playoffs. So a little highlight on the RSCQ. Obviously, we have the two powerhouses of Laval and Montreal. Laval beat Montreal earlier this year by 1. How do you see their next matchup coming up against each other?
Man, it's a hard question to answer, really. But, because Montreal, early on in the season, after seeing the way they performed against Sherbrooke in their home opener, I was like, oh, there's no way that Montreal doesn't get out of the queue. They've been dominant, and it's not even, it's the line. It's their D line and their O line that are just overpower teams. They've enforced their will on each other, and so I thought, I don't know if Laval will be able to handle all that, but we saw in the first game they went toe to toe, and it was a game-winning last-second field goal for Laval that got the win. So next week I believe that they play again at Montreal. I think they split the series in the regular season, and as for the end of the season, I think it's going to come down to home field advantage and who has that home field in the RSCQ championship, and I think it might be Montreal.
And then RSCQ's got a lot of talent at the quarterback position. I mean, we got that guy from McGill, Eloa Latendresse, who's just a dog. I mean, that guy gets it done on the ground. He gets it done through the air. He single-handedly beat Sherbrooke 2 weeks ago when they came down and played Sherbrooke. McGill looks like they're on the uprise here in football. Last year it looked like Concordia was, but McGill had they had a game against Concordia as well last week. McGill's going to look to make the playoffs this year, and with a quarterback like him, can they shock a powerhouse like Laval? Can they shock Montreal?
Scrappy dudes. We had Persevere compliment this Bishop's defense last year. Scrappy dudes, stubborn defense. McGill has scrappy dudes. You see it in their quarterback, led by their ringleader, and I think that's what could get them the win in a playoff game against Montreal Laval, where the Montreal Laval, the powerhouses come in thinking, we're gonna roll these guys. Yep. We beat them by however many points in the regular season, and if you hang up, you see it all the time. If the little guy, if David hangs around for a long enough time against Goliath, and he's got scrappy dudes like the quarterback at McGill, they could upset and they could shock. And so look out for that as a thing to play into the final season factors. But really, Montreal and Laval, they're so well coached and they're so used to being in those situations that even if they have a first half where they're like, wow, we just got stumped, these guys have stunned us coming into our house and really put everything on the table at us, that they can be like, no, we're Montreal, we're Laval, we're gonna come back and we're gonna enforce our will on them. And I'm very curious to see, but I think it will be Montreal. I don't even know, man. I'm talking nonsense right now because really I have no idea. Laval, Bishops, we traveled to Laval to play them in the preseason, and scrappy team, just a tough, just guys that know the game and play it with. Often you'll see guys that are super big and strong and powerful, and they get ahead of themselves with the big head. Not them. They know what they have to do, and they know how to compete and how to handle business. So, that's one that I really don't know.
So that's a little bit about the RSCQ. Now let's transition over to the OUA. A big matchup today. Western playing Queens.
Western's Hoko too.
Western's Hoko. Queens traveling down to London, Ontario. It's going to be a hectic game. The other team in purple, but the second best team in purple is Western. As Queens goes down, what do we see coming from that? I mean, both of them just professional level teams. You got two running backs out there, Keanu Yazbek as well as Shesarella, I'm pretty sure his name is, from Queens, who are two guys who've been there before. They've both been there before. You see that turning into a running game. Who do you see coming away with that one?
Queens is scrappy, and they're coming in with everything, and they might sense a little weakness from Western. Western dropped one to Laurier early on in the season. So they want to come in and make a big statement to not only the OUA, but the country that, no, we're here this time. We've always seen Queens as kind of like Western's little brother a little bit. They're like, yeah, you guys are all right. You might take down some teams elsewhere in the country, elsewhere in the OUA, but not us. And I think Queens comes in and brings them everything they got. But really, I think there's no way that Western loses on Hoko. There's no way that they let that happen and disappoint their crowd and their alumni. But I think Laurier is obviously shown to be a great team, and a team on
Number one in the country.
Number one in the country. Number one team in the country. Best in the nation.
Best in the
Best in the nation. But I don't know if they get to the Yates Cup.
Oh.
I think it's Queens. I think it's Queens Western Yates Cup. Because Queens, bro, they got that explosiveness. They got that juice. And I don't think they win today, but I think they come out
back
of the OUA.
Okay.
The OUA.
I like it. I like it.
And come into to AUS house.
You see, I see it a little bit differently. I see Laurier staying perfect throughout the whole season, going into the Final Four, and then I'll give you guys a prediction a little bit later in the Final Four. We'll highlight who's playing as well in the Canada West and then the AUS. I think Laurier makes it out of the OUA.
And I don't hate that.
Three teams.
That's a viable option. All three of those teams, I think that's who comes out. I don't see a dark horse coming out of coming out of that pack in the OUA, but I'm excited to see. It's going to be electric to watch. And but yeah, Laurier is obviously a stern team, and I think they're kind of smelling themselves a bit too. Like, this is our year. They were oh so close last year, and I think they're kind of feeling like, okay, this is us coming into our own. Beat Western, they finally got over that hump, much like a team we know a little bit. So they're feeling good, but much like this Gators team, I think they can't get ahead of themselves.
It was like the same mindset that the Gators had when they beat St. FX.
They can't, and the Gators didn't get a big head from that, you know, and all credit to Coach Nicholas, because he said, you know, that's his thing. It's one play. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard is. We're gonna play our brand of football and do our thing, and I think that's something that Bishops needs to maintain to follow through with this season. And I think if Laurier's mindset is of that, then they come out of the OUA. They come out of the OUA, but man, I just have a funny feeling about Queens. It's not. There's not even any math or anything behind it that's making me feel this way. I feel this way. I can see it in them.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
And so now let's move even further away from Bishops
out
here.
West,
let's move out
the
west.
roots.
Canada West.
Come on.
Who do you see coming out of Canada West?
You might call me a homer. I'm from BC. Know a couple of the guys on that team. Know some of the coaches a little bit, and you know, just been around that program a fair bit, going to their ID camps as a youngin, for sure. I think they come out. I think they turn things around.
They're on a 2-game winning streak. They started off a little slow, but now on a 2-game winning streak.
But I think they're kind of coming into their own, and I'm curious to see when they go up against Manitoba, how it goes.
Manitoba's looking good.
They're
looking good.
Undefeated for a reason.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting to see. But I think really UBC, much like Montreal, we talked about how they have that like feeling of like, nah, we know who we are. We're UBC. And I think that they come into their own late into the season. It wouldn't surprise me if they drop another 1 or 2 games throughout this season, but I think they turn things around drastically, and they get out of the West.
And so now back to the home conference, the AUS. Who do we see in the AUS? Let's talk a little bit about the season that we've had so far. Obviously, Bishops starting off undefeated, 4-0. St. FX struggling, 2 losses on the season for St. FX. They're ranked 3rd. They came into the year not having lost a game in 5 years. They were 3-time champs. Gabriel came a little close. I don't want to be hit by that guy.
I don't want to get hit by him.
I don't want to be hit by Gab.
That's not what we're here for.
But back to St. FX, they're struggling with a little bit of an injury bug. You know, they got their backup running back coming in who's still phenomenal.
Stud.
How do you see St. FX bouncing back? Do you see St. Mary coming into the finals? What do you see coming from the AUS?
I think it's really 3 teams at play here. You know, obviously you can't rule out a team like Acadia or Mount A who play today, which could have huge playoff implications.
It's a must-win.
You know, as they came away victorious against Acadia, but they both 1-win teams, and they gotta run back the table against all the teams that they've just faced. So you can't rule them out necessarily because, you know, it's a 4-team playoff. Mount A or Acadia could come into the number 1 seed split house and shake things up. We've seen stuff like that happen before, so you can't rule that out. But I think really it is a race between 3 teams. Two of the teams right behind us, and also Santa Fe. You can never rule Santa Fe out. It's like those years with the Patriots where they'd have that slow start.
Yep.
And everybody's like, oh, they're dead. Dynasty's over. Blow it up. Blow up the franchise, and then they end up with you see Tom Brady with the Super Bowl in his hands at the end of the year, and like, oh God, not this guy again. And I feel like that's very similar with what Santa Fe has going on, is that they know who. I said it before. I'll say it again. They know who they are.
Yep.
And obviously, guys that have moved on from their team, guys that are injured this year, they've definitely been hit with a deadly injury bug. But they're a team that's scrappy, and they know who they are. They're well coached, and they're not going to let those outside factors distract what's going on inside. So I'm curious to see how it goes down the stretch. And obviously, St. Mary's, another scrappy team. They went toe-to-toe with Santa Fe last week.
Yep.
And
lost on a last-second field goal as well.
Who else but Ben Hadley? We were watching that game. It was a Friday night light, so we were able to watch it at home. And it was like when St. Mary's didn't convert and they had to punt it away, it was like,
Yep.
It's done. Like, you think Silas isn't going to get Hadley in field goal range? And his range is like 50 yards.
Yep.
Like, he's going to make it. So that was cool to see just how that shook up. And that really showed you, like, Santa Fe isn't going away.
Exactly.
They're not going to just roll over and be like, our season's chalk. We had a good run. We're done. They want to come in to wherever they need to come into and shake things up. So really, I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
If you could give a little Final Four prediction here for us, who you think's winning the whole thing as well? The Vanier Cup, hosted at Queens. Tickets are already on sale. Who you think's coming away with it all?
I think so. Coming out of the West, I said it, UBC. So they'll be going to I didn't make a decision yet on that one. I'm going Laval. They're going to Laval.
I think go to Laval.
Canada West hosted.
Canada West hosted last year.
Hosted AUS.
So now they're going.
So I think it'll be a big travel. I could tell you what, it's that Vancouver, that YVR flight. I guess they'll be flying into Quebec City. I've never flown into Quebec City, but it's a long flight. You're on your butt for a while.
Oh yeah.
So I think they come in and just don't get adjust to the time zone difference in time. They don't figure it out, and I think Laval gets on them early and then just kind of holds that grip and see Laval back in the Vanier. And then as for this, I think what we said at Queens. I think Queens gets out of the AUS or the OUA.
The OUA.
And I know this is what Sheriff Nicholas would call rat poison, and I think it's Bishops, man.
I like them this year.
I think this is a team, and this is a team that is confident in themselves and knows that what they have to do to get it done. They've been in this situation time and time again of being in the big games and not quite coming up with it. And I think they feel really confident about themselves, and I think this could be the year for them. But I don't want to rule out anything from any team, because everybody's going to give Bishops their best shot. It's a new feeling for Bishops to be the team and have that target on their back.
Yep.
Sheriff has said it time and time again. Everybody's giving them their best shot, and it's a new role for them. I was talking to a few older guys on the team who were saying, like, yeah, it feels weird that like we're the team to beat now, like because they remember in their first couple of years, like they were the team that everybody saw on their schedule and was like, Bishops, we're gonna blow them out, and that's how they were beating teams. It's because like they overlooked Bishops and Bishops surprised them, and now it's like no one's gonna be surprised by any of the great things that Bishops does. They're gonna be like, yeah, they're gonna come at us with everything, and so it could be a toss-up. Football is they play the games for a reason.
Exactly.
So it goes. Anything can happen, but I think Bishops can get it done. And this is the season, but yeah, I'm excited. Really, I'm just excited to see how it all plays out and enjoy what we have. Obviously the stadium is packed right now, and just enjoy these moments.
Yeah, I love
with
it.
With everybody. With
And
everything.
then the final thing for today, a new fantasy football app coming out here to highlight youth sports players.
Super cool.
OB
Super cool,
Fantasy Football, you can download it on Instagram. I've got a lineup starting today. I've got a couple Bishops players out there starting. I got my dog JQ coming in,
Yeah.
the education major just like me. He's going to be out there teaching them some ways. JQ's going to have a hell of a game today. I'm also starting O'Shea. I think this
Not a
offense is
bad guy
going
to
off.
have on your
I think
fantasy
this
team.
offense is going off. And then at the same time, I might be call me a homer all you want. I've got Gators defense and Xavier Gervais.
Not bad.
I think
not a bad lineup.
I think they're scoring a lot of points and they're not letting up that many.
And those are the guys that you see, every week. It's OB Obsession.
Yep.
Yeah. So they post the top 10 of each position in terms of fantasy points, and those are the names that we've been seeing a lot recently. O'Shea Hosang, averaging 2 touchdowns a game. That's a boost for
Phenomenal.
your fantasy team. And obviously, with the amount of points that have been going up on the board, Xavier Gervais has been knocking them through. A couple weeks ago, he put up like a gajillion points because he was kicking the extra points, but then he got in as
Started playing
at quarterback
quarterback.
and was slinging the rock, ran for 1, threw for I think a score.
Yep.
So yeah, not bad players to have on your team, and I think this is super cool to have. Like it's bringing exposure to
the
youth
players.
sports and to the individual players that we see. Like the individual players are getting recognition that we've never really seen before in youth sports. Obviously, NCAA football is way bigger down in the States, and every single player.
Yeah.
You know where they went to high school, like what their mom's name is. You know everything about them, and you don't really see that in Canadian youth sports. So it's very cool to see that exposure and all these social media platforms that have just been repping everybody's stuff, advertising everything, and it makes it cooler for guys in high school who are like, oh, I'm pretty good, but I don't know if I want to play college football. Like, it's in Canada, it's not really that big of a deal, and it's like, oh no, like there's a lane here for
Exactly.
something that I don't even know yet what
Yeah.
I want to do with my life, and just a way to continue to play football and high profile football at this point too.
I love it. Well,
Great.
It was a lot of fun here today.
Dude.
Special HOCO event. Hopefully we get the nod to do it again. Stay with us. Be broadcasting the game in 30 minutes until kickoff.
There we
so
go.
stay tuned. Get hyped. Homecoming weekend. You gotta love
Crack
it.
open a beer or a seltzer, whatever you got, and enjoy the day. Get locked in, get ready, get settled in.
Exactly. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you, Liam. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
See you guys next time.
See ya.